Hi, welcome and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about what I read in August and my TBR for next month. This month I mostly read the Shatter series. I am not a quick-ish reader, as in I still have a full-time job. There's only so much I can read. And the Shatter series starts with Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, Restore Me, Define Me, and Imagine Me. There's also novellas in between these, but after reading the first book and going into the second book, I realized I was not interested enough to read the novellas. I wasn't in love with the story enough to commit to also, I think it's like 3 or 4 novellas. The first one I liked. I think I gave it a 4 stars, or 3.75, 4 stars. I liked the concept. It had an interesting writing style. It's a dystopian, set in the future story with like some fancy elements. It's very much a piece of its time when it was written, like early 2010s. I liked the first book. The second book, I ended up listening on audiobook. It helped me get through it quicker. I think I started reading it like the first chapter or 2, like physically, and then I went on audiobook so that I could clean and do stuff at the same time, multitask while listening. The second book I did not like as much. It was a bit slow. It felt, I don't know, there was something about it that like I wasn't really in it. I think I gave this one a 3 stars instead. The third one, I would probably say the third one's my favorite. Like the first and the third are my favorite in the series. It does end in a kind of unrealistic way, but you let go of what's realistic anyway. I did like this one the most. I think I gave this one a 4 stars. And originally the series was 3 books only. The author, she extended for 3 more books. And you can tell in the next 3 books that either they weren't planned originally that way. There isn't anything in the first 3 books that shadow or set up anything in the last 3 books, unfortunately. So it did very much feel like a separate series in a way. The 4th book, I had heard reviews that it ended up being a bit soap opera-ish, childish, and like within the first chapter, like I could tell. The actions of the characters felt very different from the first 3 books. The way that they were talking to each other felt more childish. And I know it's a young adult story, but there was a shift from the first 3 books compared to the last 3 books. This one is probably my least favorite in the series, close to Unravel Me. It also felt like the story just started again, like there was no progress made in these 3 books for then the main characters to revert back to what they were in book 1. I think I gave this one like a 2.5 stars. It was not my favorite. And then Defy Me, I got through quicker. I read this one physically. This one, things started picking up again. I think I gave it 3 stars. The thing is that I like to read series all in one go because it's very unlikely that I'll go back to it. And by this book, I could definitely tell that I was like pushing myself to get through. I did finish this one quicker because things were picking up and they were becoming interesting again. And Restore Me, I feel like it only started getting interesting in the last 100 so pages. And so this one was like right in the action. But at the same time, I cannot tell you what happened specifically in each book because they've all just like merged. Imagine Me is the last book in the series. I know there's a novella that follows after this book. This book very much felt like everything was happening and at the same time, not much is happening. I definitely didn't expect this to happen when I was reading Shatter Me. I didn't think this was going to be the ending, but I was happy to finish it. And now I'm just glad that like I can say I've read the Shatter Me series. I think if I had read this when I was younger, or if I had read this when it was coming out, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. I think now that I've read more fantasy books, I know what I like and what I don't like. I can tell when something doesn't click for me. I didn't hate this series, but I didn't love it. And I know that there is a strong fandom for the series. I did see recently that she is planning a spin-off series, is either coming out next year or I saw it very recently, like yesterday there was news about it. I don't think I'll be reading the series. The Shatter Me universe is done for me. I'm happy that I've done it. That being said, I gave Imagine Me, I think it was 3 stars. After reading the whole of the Shatter Me series, I decided I needed a palate cleanser. I needed something wildly different, something really easy to read. I didn't want to get into a book slump. So my palate cleanser is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. She writes like cheesy romances, but like cheesy in a good way. You have to be in the mood for it and you have to know what you're getting into. Like it's a closed door romance, very like unrealistic, but it's cutesy. I've read the cheat sheet by her, Practice Makes Perfect, which is technically the second in the series. I have got the rule book by her that I've been meaning to read, and I know that she's making a third in this series. I haven't finished this yet, but I'm very close. I don't know if you can see that there. I've got like 90 pages left. I'll probably finish it today or tomorrow. I think I'll be giving this maybe a 3.75 stars. I think I preferred Practice Makes Perfect over this one, which I know that a lot of people preferred When in Rome, but maybe it's because it was the order I read it in. If I read this first, maybe I would have preferred this. It feels a little bit too unrealistic because it is about a famous pop star who breaks down in front of someone's house. It's like that fantasy that you think before you go to sleep. It feels like it's insta-love, but not at the same time. I feel like the best romances are the ones that you can kind of see yourself in, or there's like some realistic element in it. Either way, I'm still enjoying it. It's a perfect palette cleanser, like I said I needed. I think I'll be giving this a 3.75 out of 5 stars. So these are all the books I read this month. If you've read them, let me know what you think of them. If you think the same about the Shatter Me series, if it's for you, if it's not. For my September TBR, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my boyfriend to pick the books that I'm going to read in September. He's picked 5 books for me, so I'll invite him in so he can show me what he's picked. So this is my boyfriend Toby, and he's picked out my TBR for September.
5 books, yeah?
5 books, yeah. And I didn't look at them while he was picking them, but now I can see them, so I don't know why we did that. It's not much of a surprise.
Look!
Okay, well, I mean, I've seen them now, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm really surprised. Right, so number 1.
Yeah. The Divorcees. We bought this recently. Well, you bought it for me recently. We went on a trip to Waterstones, Piccadilly, and we saw it. It's set in the 1950s and about women that want to get divorced. They go to pre-divorce camp to like double check if you want to get divorced, just to make sure.
It sounds interesting.
I am really excited to read this one. I was going to read this after the Shatter Me series, but I was worried that if I didn't like it, it would put me into reading slump. So I can see that. Wanted to go with a safe bet. So I'm glad you've put it on my TBR now.
That's good. All right, pick number 2, which you already know.
Which I can see, yeah. Hello, Beautiful. I think I've seen good things about this. It's literary fiction. This has 4 sisters, and then one of them becomes friends with this guy, and then the relationship of him melding in with the sisters kind of just ruins the family dynamic. He's got like a dark past, and I've heard that this is a heavy read.
Is it?
Not weight-wise. Emotionally heavy, but I am excited to read it, and I really like the cover of the book as well. I like this new trend of like oil paintings.
I think you and me both agree on this. It's a good trend.
I think I've seen more books with the oil painting design. It's something, I don't think it's something new, but it's something different, and I hope that there's more covers like this. Okay, next one.
Pick number 3.
Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac by Gabrielle Zevin. I've been meaning to read this for a while. I read Elsewhere by her. I also have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by her. But Elsewhere and Memoirs are her young adult books. They're pretty old, actually. Well, not pretty old, but as in they're not new. First published in 2007.
Oh, really? It's that old?
So this one's from 2005, and this one's from 2007. And Elsewhere is about a girl that dies and she goes to elsewhere and her coming to terms with her death. And then this one is about a teenager that loses all her memories, as you can guess from the title. While they're different premises, they kind of felt similar in themes. Coming of age, discovering who you are as a teenager. I loved Elsewhere. I think I gave it 5 stars, but I wanted to have a gap before I read the next one because I didn't want just a repeat, and I didn't want that to affect my view of this book. But I am excited for this, and it's a short book, and I read the other one really quick as well. Like, this is only 271 pages, which, I mean, easy to go through. And then the next one, Tom Lake by Anne Pratchett. A lot of people that I follow have read it, but they don't talk about it much. But when they do talk about it, they talk about how much they liked it.
It seems to only be good things.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I haven't heard anything bad about it. And apparently Anne Pratchett is a really good author, and her prose is really nice. I think I'll like this book.
And the last one?
Hotel 21 by Senta Rich. I haven't had lots of people talk about this.
No, it's been quite quiet on that.
I don't think I've seen anyone even... I don't know if it's people know about it we saw it. We went up to Harrogate and we saw it in a bookstore, didn't we? It'd been a new release, I think.
Yeah.
And I debated buying it then, but I wanted to sit on it for a bit. And I ended up sitting on it for nearly a year. And I found it really interesting, the premise. Noelle is a hotel cleaner and a model employee.
Or so should Abby think. The trouble is she can't help taking little souvenirs as she cleans. Nothing of value, just tokens of happy normal lives. When she starts at her 21st hotel, her new colleagues complicate her plans. They're not just hands pushing carts down hotel corridors.
I feel like all of the books are literary fictions that you've picked out for me.
I think they might be, yeah. I'm changing you.
You're changing me. I can fix her.
I can fix her.
From bottom up, I think is how excited I am to read these books.
That's not too bad.
And I feel like they all have potential to be really high rated. So well done you.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I managed to read all of these books in September, and I shall let you know at the end of September how I've done and what I think of them. Or maybe I'll just not listen to you at all and not read any of these books.
How dare you? Such a betrayal.
Because I do feel like I'm a mood reader, but...
I think I'm the same as well.
Thank you. And on your channel, I will be picking your TBR for September.
You will, yeah.
So you can watch Toby's channel to find out what I've picked for his TBR. His taste in books are very different from mine.
Oh.
I will probably just be like guessing on what's the best to read, but I'll be picking 5 books for you to read in September as well. So if you want to check that out, his channel name is
Work in Progress.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube things, and yeah, thank you. See you next time.